Weezy out of here. Weezy out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Straight Like That on KTSU to The Voice. I'm Tramel Jeffers, aka the Cheesehead, and alongside of me is the best crew in town. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Tyra Logley, also the Cheesehead.
I'm Tyus McAfee, host of the Tyus McAfee podcast, where I make new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I try to no later than 5, but I am a college student.
All right, we got a lot to talk. We got a lot to talk about today, and it's been kind of a delay. It was a 2-week delay due to the snowstorm that we had here in Houston. So first, I want to make sure that you all were able to survive. Were you all okay? Did you all have electricity? Did you all have water? What was going on?
I actually had both. My water was going in and out due to, my apartment was messing with my pipes. But I had jugs of water, luckily. My electricity never went out. It only went out for about 30 minutes during the middle of the night. But other than that, I was fine.
For my grandma, our internet went out, but it was only out for 15 hours. But other than that, everything was fine.
Okay, well, that's good. We didn't have it bad as other people. I also had electricity. Mine's never went out, thank God. And the water situation was difficult. We didn't have water pressure. And if we did have to use it, we had to boil it. So, I was living like a caveman for a couple of days, but everything worked out and everything is fine. So I'm glad that we're here again and we're back with another episode. So let's start with our very first topic. And we're going to start with J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt made his decision on Twitter that he's going to sign with the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm going to go first this time. I want to let you all know how I feel about that. I mean, as a Packer fan, of course I want J.J. Watt. But, yes, I'm disappointed he didn't sign with us. But even just as an NFL fan, just listening to J.J. Watt complain in Houston this whole time, oh, I want to win. I'm trying to go to a Super Bowl contender. And he just does the complete opposite. I'm going to tell you something. 3 years ago, Tyrann Mathieu did the same thing. And he was a candidate to go to Green Bay one year, 3 years ago. He came out and said, I want to go to a Super Bowl contender. I want to go to a team where winning matters and defense matters. And he goes to a team that was 4-12 in the Houston Texans, and they were not a Super Bowl contender. And he did. They won nothing in Houston. So I was upset with him doing that. And I feel the exact same way with J.J. Watt. Not just because he didn't sign with us, but he could have went to Cleveland, Buffalo. He could have went to Indianapolis. It was just so many choices that he had. So many contenders that were out there, and he didn't choose one. He went to Arizona. What are y'all thoughts?
I agree because I personally believe that it's going to be a while until Arizona actually makes it to where they want to be, especially with them having to develop with Kyler Murray, because it's going to take some time for him to, get situated on his feet and actually understand more pro football than, what he has to do. But I don't know. Well, of course, I also would want him to sign with Green Bay because look at who he would have as his quarterback and his defense. And, he would just have a lot more to work with. And I just felt he would be more comfortable because he already, see where we can go with, obviously, the people that we have now. So just adding him as another weapon would have helped out greatly. And if he wanted to go to a Super Bowl contending team, he had a team right there. So
Right there, yep.
I don't know. It was surprising. I was disappointed because of all teams, you really chose Arizona. So we gonna see what he can do. So
Exactly. I want to hear what you got to say, Tyus, as a Texan fan.
I mean, I'm not hurt by the move. This is just another example of money talks, everything else walks. Because simply, he signed a 2-year, $31 million. So I don't blame him for that, which nothing's wrong with that. And let's be honest, J.J. Watt is a Hall of Famer. He has nothing. All he has basically to add is a Super Bowl ring. And one thing about Cliff Kingsbury that I've heard is he's not a grinded out type of coach. He's kind of chill. He's kind of more so relaxed. And J.J. Watt is at this point in his career, does he really want to practice hard or does he really want to do any of those things? So he chased the money, and I don't really blame him for that. Now, a lot of players say that they want to win. which I do believe JJ wants to win, but at the end of the day, money talks, everything else walks. So I don't blame him for that.
I was just surprised that he went to a team. Arizona's not a bad team, don't get me wrong, but you look at their division, they're probably the worst team in that division.
They're not winning the division.
Yeah, they're not winning the division. They could easily miss the playoffs due because of the Rams are in the division with Stafford. You have, who else is it? Seattle.
San Francisco.
San Francisco is going to be back.
And that is one of the hardest divisions to play in. So.
The hardest division, absolutely. So, yeah, that's one reason. And then two, Arizona's defense was terrible last year. They couldn't stop the run to save their lives. I mean, yeah, they got a couple players. I think him and Chandler Jones will be a dynamic duo rushing the quarterback, but can they stop the run? No. Do they have linebackers that can cover? No. And do they have a secondary? No. Patrick Peterson is about to walk. So, no, they don't really have – they have a couple of guys. Yeah, they have J.J. Watt, they have Chandler Jones, and they have – what's the guy in the secondary?
Ain't it Buda Baker?
Yeah, Buda Baker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They have 3 players on that defense. 3. That's pretty much it. Everybody else is average or below average. So I don't understand why he went there. And when you look at the Cardinals, they're a team that's up and coming. Yeah, they're possibly a playoff team, but they're not Super Bowl contenders. And they're a team that you would have to stick with like 3 to 4 years before they actually win something. And
JJ,
he doesn't have that much in the tank. Yeah.
Secure the bag, JJ. Secure the bag. I don't blame you.
So I think it was definitely a money signing. I think he chose money over winning, money over a ring. And
if that was the case, I wouldn't have put that I wanted to win, especially if he was going to make that your destination. It would have just been like, I'm happy to be with another organization, you know. But saying you want to win, I think that was a little stretch. He was reaching a little too much.
Yeah, like I said, he chose money over winning, and it's looking like he'll never win a Super Bowl in his career. I think that's safe to say, unless he signs another contract after this one. Yeah, somewhere else. But in these next 2 years, he's not winning the Super Bowl, and they might not even make the playoffs next year. So, thumbs down on the J.J. Watt signing going to Arizona. Now, the next person we're going to talk about is Carson Wentz. We didn't get to talk about this 2 weeks ago when it happened due to the storm, but we're going to talk about Carson Wentz getting traded to the Indianapolis Colts. And do you all think that him being in a new environment will bring his former MVP play back? And do you think the Colts are Super Bowl contenders?
Absolutely. Only because I hate it because the Colts are in the Texans division, so that makes it even harder for us. But the Colts have the number 8 defense, so that's going to help out Carson Wentz. Then the Colts have an underrated running game along with a great offensive line. Now, all he needs to do, he just can't turn the ball over like he did in Philadelphia. If he can control his turnovers, he's going to do really well because Frank Wright, the head coach for the Colts, he was the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia when Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl. So they know Carson Wentz's strengths and weaknesses. So I think if he can take care of the football, he's going to do good. They're going to do really well. Because their defense is for real.
A lot of people in Philly were actually upset that he left. They weren't expecting him to be traded to Indianapolis because they felt like they would try and build with him a little bit more. They knew like the problems that they were having. So people were really upset. Like, why would you really trade Carson Wentz? Because I can tell that they don't have a lot of trust in Jalen Hurts. They don't feel like he would get to where they need to be compared to what they had with Carson Wentz. So, yeah.
I think Carson Wentz going to Indy makes them Super Bowl contenders. One, I mean, you look at his situation in Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, last year was his fault. I was the biggest Carson Wentz fan, but last year I had to jump off the train because he just fell off a cliff. But I do think a new environment in Indianapolis will help him a lot. One, they have a great offensive line. Excellent offensive line. They're going to protect him. That's something that he didn't have in Philly over the last couple of years. A run game. Something else he really didn't have consistently over there in Philadelphia. He's going to have that in Indianapolis. Also, he's more mobile than Phillip Rivers. He can get out the pocket. He can extend plays. I think that's a plus for that Colts offense. And then he'll have a couple weapons. Like I said, his weapons were hurt in Philly, but he'll have a couple over there in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor at the running back position. T.Y. Hilton, he still has a little bit left in the tank. Jack Doyle. Who else do you have?
Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr. He's an up-and-coming receiver. And it's one more, Zach Pascal.
Yeah.
They got some weapons over there in Indianapolis, so I think they can contend. it's gonna be hard to knock off the Chiefs, but they're up there. They got the defense to do it.
Yeah.
So I think he does put them over the top a little bit. He's definitely an upgrade over Phillip Rivers, just due to the fact that he's younger, he's more mobile, he's more accurate sometimes when he's not forcing things. And he's a generational talent quarterback. He's a generational talented quarterback when he's at his best. When he was at his MVP season, 2017, it was looking like he was a generational player. So if he can get back to that, he puts Indianapolis over the top for sure. So I think they're Super Bowl contenders. So I can't wait to see how that's gonna fare. Do you think they're gonna knock off the Titans in that division, or you think it's still gonna be neck to neck like it always is?
It might be neck and neck.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same?
Yeah.
I think the Colts are gonna run away with it simply because the Colts coaching staff I would take a little bit more over Tennessee. Now this not no knock on Tennessee. Tennessee has a great coaching staff, but I just trust the Colts a little bit more. And you look at Tennessee. Tennessee has no pass rush, and they haven't did anything to help that problem at all or solve that problem at all. So I'm still gonna go with the Colts. I think the Colts are gonna win that division easily.
Okay. Now, what is this? Let's go back to the J.J. Watt. Now, what does that move say for Russell Wilson?
Follow the bag.
Follow the bag.
But, okay, now, I think he should get out of Seattle. Only because he's been talking and they're not listening to him. And Pete Carroll has too much control in Seattle. So if I'm Russell Wilson, I liked what he did when he told his agent, and his agent came out and said, well, I don't want to be traded, but if I was to be traded, Dallas, the Raiders, and I can't remember the other two teams. So I like that. Get out of Seattle.
New Orleans was another team.
New Orleans.
I hope he stays in Seattle.
If he were to get traded somewhere like Dallas, what would they do with Dak?
Trade Dak.
Where?
To Seattle? Because
it'll be some teams that don't want. Yeah, you can send them to Seattle. Yeah,
because I know they're. I don't know. It feels like they want to keep Dak, like they're wanting on locking him.
Now with Dallas has the 10th overall pick in the draft, so you can trade Dak and that pick, and that can start off a package deal. Then you throw in a player or so, and boom. If I'm Dallas, I do that right now. You get the better quarterback, and they get out of the franchise tag massacre with Dak, because Dak Prescott is on. If he signs another franchise tag, he'll get $13 million, a $13 million signing bonus. But if you trade him, that's void. So I'll do that in a heartbeat. Get the better quarterback and out of franchise tag massacre. That's a win-win
for sure. And then Dak actually just came out and said he wants a new contract right behind Patrick Mahomes. He wants to get paid the second most money in the NFL as a quarterback. So he wants more money than Russell Wilson. He wants more money than Deshaun Watson. I really think that the Deshaun Watson signing was bad for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Even before the injury. I think it was because you look at Patrick Mahomes, $50 million. You're not getting that.
Nah.
Everybody thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be the new normal with his contract. But actually, when Deshaun Watson got paid, he got way less than what Patrick Mahomes did, $10 million less. So that's actually the new norm right there.
But with Dak, Dallas is to blame with that, because they could have been restructured his contract when he was still on his because he's still on his rookie deal right now. They could have been gave him an extension 3 years ago and only been paying him like $32 million, and then they could have did it again, I think, a year ago and only been paying him $35 million. So Dallas is to blame with this, and I don't blame Dak, because if you look at it, Dak is not Patrick Mahomes, but he has helped the Dallas Cowboys. He's been to the playoffs. He's won a playoff game and stuff like that. That kind of helps your case when you're kind of like, talking money. Now, I do believe he will get franchise tagged again, because I don't see the Cowboys moving off of Dak. But if I were them, I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'll definitely make that trade, but I want to see what happens with the Dak situation.
Yeah.
He's coming off of an injury, and he's demanding that type of money. I can't, man. You haven't even gotten to the NFC Championship yet. Even if he didn't get injured,
True.
I don't know if I can pay him that much money. We haven't gotten past the second round. You got one playoff win, so I don't think so. But
Good point.
let's move on to Deshaun Watson. We all know that he wants to get traded. He says if he's not getting traded, he's not gonna play ever again for the Texans. So he's hoping to get
That hurt my
traded.
heart.
Oh, wow.
Looks like Houston is trying to hold him hostage, but if he does get traded somehow, some way, they do decide to trade him. What is the best destination?
You know, I don't see him playing. This is hard because there's a lot of teams that do need quarterbacks. But I would say maybe the Jets. Because they're in. I don't know what's going on with Sam Darnold, honestly, but it's not working. But that could be a destination for him. That's probably the destination for him. But I don't know. It's tricky out here. He can sign anywhere he wants to, but as long as it's out of Houston. But that's where I can see him going.
Jets. As a fan, I would say the New York Jets. As a Packer fan, I want him to go to the New York Jets. But as an NFL analyst, I got to go with the San Francisco 49ers. That is the best trade destination. One, he has everything over there. If he goes to San Francisco, they're probably winning the NFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl again, like they did in 2019. They were derailed by injuries this year, but they'll be back if Watson comes. One, he's going to have a much better O-line than what he had in Houston. He's going to have a run game for the first time in his career with Raheem Mostert, with all those other guys. I can't remember the backup running back's name, but they got a run game over there.
George Kittle.
Yeah, George Kittle, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. He has weapons over there.
And an actual coach.
And an actual coach and a defense. These are things that he has never had in Houston, and he will have for the first time. And I think that puts San Francisco over the top against everybody else. I think they'll be right there with Tampa and Green Bay. I think they'll be just a little bit above those teams. So, yeah, I think Deshaun Watson going to San Francisco is the best trade destination. But as a Packer fan, stay away from us. stay in the AFC. Stay in the AFC. Go to the Jets. That's cool. Do your thing over there in New York. Just don't bother us. Some people were saying Chicago. No. Please don't come to our division. I mean, yeah, I love Deshaun Watson. He's a great quarterback. But I don't think Chicago has the team, but I think they would be competitive with us. So I don't want to see him in our division. I don't want to have to play him 2 times a year. So, yeah, go to the Jets. But the best destination would be San Francisco for me.
Okay.
If the Jets don't get Trevor, isn't that his name?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Then, that would be interesting. Because that's probably, is the Jets still the first pick?
Yeah, they're number. No. The Jaguars are number 1.
No,
The Jets are number 2.
Okay, so if anything, this is interesting. I gotta see because now that the Jaguars are the number 1 pick, it kind of changes a lot because we did see him going to the Jets at first, but now that that's changed, you got to see where it's all gonna go now.
But if the Jets were to get Deshaun Watson, that first round pick is going to Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, they're getting that first round pick.
Now, my only thing is, I don't want to say this. What you receive for Deshaun Watson, will that hurt Deshaun Watson? Because if you receive, let's say, 3 draft picks and some players, doesn't that kind of take away from his help that he has on the team? Like, let's say he goes to San Francisco. They trade 2 first rounders, but the Texans also want Nick Bosa, an offensive player, because you're going to have to make the deal even out. If the Rams can get all that they got for Matthew Stafford, the Texans going to get,
There's with San Francisco, Nick Bosa, anybody on that defensive line is untouchable.
Okay.
Nick Bosa, all those guys, they're untouchable. Now, if you talking about maybe somebody in that secondary, maybe Brandon Ayuk, maybe, I don't know, somebody, they're going to give somebody away, but superstars are untouchable. They're not giving that away. The picks, of course, you're going to have the 2 first-round picks. This year's pick and then next year's. And like I said, maybe an average player on their team.
Okay. Now, for me, the best place I see Deshaun Watson going is the New Orleans Saints. Only because when you look at the Saints, you see Sean Payton, offensive guru. Now, he's not the best play caller in the playoffs, but regular season, he does amazing. Then they have all-world receiver Michael Thomas, along with Alvin Kamara. Their defense has some players, Cam Jordan, along with Marshawn Lattimore. So I think adding Deshaun Watson, that'll put them over the top.
Yeah, for sure. I think San Francisco, New Orleans. Yeah, if
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans gets their hands on Deshaun Watson, they're gonna be great
Yeah.
for another 5 years, at least another 5 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said, Michael Thomas, top 5 receiver. Everybody got amnesia about him.
Yeah.
Everybody forgot about him because he was injured. Everybody calls him Slant Boy, but he's one of the best in the business, if not the best when he's playing. He's up there for real.
Yeah.
He's definitely
He's
up
talented.
there. He's the most disrespected receiver in the game. I think so. And he's going to prove in 2021 why that is. When he comes back healthy, he's going to show people why he was a 2-time first-team All-Pro. But yeah, if he goes to New Orleans, that's scary.
Ooh-wee.
That's scary. That's why I want him to stay in the AFC. Stay away from us, man. But let's shift over to the NBA. And the AllStars were announced. And we already knew who the starters were. And they just announced the reserves. So I want to know, who is your snub? Who got snubbed this year in the All-Star game?
I'm gonna go with DeMar DeRozan for the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are 16-11, and the main reason for that is DeMar DeRozan. He's averaging 20 points per game, 7 assists with 5 rebounds. But if we're being real about it, the All-Star game is a popularity contest, and so the most popular players get voted in. So I think that's why DeMar DeRozan didn't get in.
Tyra, who you think is a snub this year?
Honestly, I didn't really pay attention. I'm not gonna lie, but they already put him in the game because they did do a lot of hoopla. But Devin Booker, he did get he had his problem, but since I think Anthony Davis is on the reserve list, I guess. So they just put him in the starting lineup. But had that not happened, then yeah, that would have been a problem.
Yeah,
because he's pretty good. Actually, he's not pretty good. He is good.
Yeah.
So not having him in the All-Star game would have been honestly disappointing. But I'm glad he's able to start now.
Yeah, he made AD actually got hurt, and they put Devin Booker in to replace him since he won't play.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think anybody got snubbed this year. I mean, of course, you're going to have some people who got left out. But who you going to replace? Now, okay, in the Western Conference, only because the way they have the format, you got the front court and you got the back court. If it wasn't set up that way, I would take Rudy Gobert out, and I would replace him with Devin Booker.
Yeah.
But because that's the format, you got to have a certain amount of back court, a certain amount of front court. You can't do that. So I really don't say anybody. Now, somebody I wish originally got in was Donatas Sabonis.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, I love him, man. He can play some ball, but you can't. Who you gonna take out? Vucevic, he was very well deserving. Joel Embiid, very well deserving. So it's like,
It's hard.
yeah, it's hard.
always
Somebody's gonna get left out. Now, last year we had some problems. Zach LaVine was left out. Bradley Beal was left out.
But the thing with them is they play on bad teams. So like Paul Pierce had mentioned, it's easy to put up numbers when you're playing for a bad team. But now if I say something like that, that contradicts myself because Brandon Ingram made it and the Pelicans we all know they were bad.
You can say the same for the Celtics.
See,
They're sitting at 500 right now. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum made it, and Jason Tatum is starting. So yeah, but yeah, this year I don't really think it was a snub. Like I said, I wish Sabonis would have got in originally. I wish Devin Booker would have got in, but the way the format is set up,
it's always gonna be.
yes, always, yeah. Now, do you think the All-Star game will be the same this year? Do you think the intensity will be the same?
No, half the players didn't want an All-Star game.
Yeah, I see. Yes, LeBron doesn't even want to play.
Yeah.
Because like the dunk we're talking about the game or the weekend.
The game, the whole weekend.
Okay, think those events are more so predicated towards the fans, especially the slam dunk contest. And so now with no fans, it's not.
That's pretty pointless because everybody looks forward to being at the slam dunk contest.
Right.
3-point contest, then you got
Yeah.
the skills challenge, and then the All-Star game. But no, it's not going to be the same. And they already don't care about the All-Star game. So
It's just not the same. You know, when
Yeah.
we grew up as kids, we were super excited for it. They used to actually try in the game. You had Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, T-Mac, Shaq, Yao Ming, Dirk, Steve Nash. I mean, you name it. They were there in the game, and they were balling. They were trying. It was like they had something to play for. Now, when you look at the All-Star game, it's just a dunk contest. They shooting open threes. It's just
Boring, really.
yeah, open gym.
Open gym.
It's
Open
just
gym.
crazy how time changed like that because we really used to actually sit and watch all these players, and now it's just,
Yeah.
They don't even play anymore. And
They don't.
Kobe, rest in peace.
Yep. And LeBron is getting old. Kevin Durant is getting old.
Harden,
Yeah, Harden is getting old. Curry, whoa, man, they all in their 30s now. It seemed like yesterday they were 27, 24.
But the NBA, we have a nice blend of up and coming stars. You know, you have Donovan Mitchell, the Joel Embiid, Jokic. So I think the NBA is going to be okay.
Yeah, the NBA will definitely be fine. You got LaMelo Ball
Yeah.
coming up. It's some young talent out there in the NBA. The game is really evolving.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. It's not the same, but it's still exciting in some type of way. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this All-Star thing is gonna turn out.
It's going to be interesting.
See if it's gonna blow up or not. Because I mean, we saw it with the bubble, the ratings were pretty bad. Actually when Minnesota and Seattle played on Sunday Night Football, the pregame show doubled the views
See?
of Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
Yeah. That
The pregame show of Sunday Night Football, it had double views over one of the games in the finals. That's insane.
crazy.
It's just not the same anymore.
now,
But
do you think celebrities are going to attend?
no, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not sure how the capacity would be if they're even allowing fans there. If they do, it might be somewhere between 10 to 25%. You might see a couple celebrities, but it's not gonna be the same.
If
Okay.
anything, they're going to be outside. It's
Yeah.
Atlanta. Atlanta's open. It's just the arena.
It's Atlanta.
Yeah.
So if they gave y'all a ticket, would y'all go?
Yes.
I would, yeah, for the
Okay,
experience, of course, yeah. I'm just the average Joe, so
If-
yeah.
if-
Me, what?
If I would have went to the All-Star game back home when it was in LA, that was probably the last time I remember it being somewhere like besides here, being somewhere special. Then yeah, I would have went because I have never went to one, and now we in a pandemic, so it's like you really can't go. So it was terrible.
Man, that kind of when you said that kind of reminded me of when the Super Bowl was in Houston and I didn't go to the festivities. I still to this day regret not going.
Man, I was supposed to go to the festivities.
See?
We were in the NFC Championship, but we lost to Atlanta, so I didn't even make the trip down here.
At least y'all in the hunt. We were at home before the see. Man,
Man,
it's finna be a tough. Like now that we finna lose Watson, it's finna be hard to be a Texan fan or even to be a Houston sports fan. It's finna be tough because the Rockets are doing terrible.
13 straight losses.
That kind of feels bad. 'cause-
13. That's crazy
Man.
because when we were on here last time, they won 5 straight.
But who went down?
John Wall, he did, and
Yep,
Christian Wood
Christian
too. He's been
Wood.
battling injuries.
See?
Yeah,
Dang, man, I just feel bad for Steven Silas. To wait that long and then your first actual gig as a head coach, you lose 13 straight.
13 straight.
And then Oladipo, I don't think he gonna come back.
Nope. I mean, he is who he is now. He just can't stay healthy. His prime days are over. Even though it was short, it was a year and a half where he was in his prime, pretty much.
But I think with a lot of players, I think it's just the right system. If you can get them in the right system, they can be a good player. Like John Wall, how the Washington Wizards did him. Now, John Wall still can play. Now, the question was, can he stay healthy? And now, my only thing about John Wall, if he can knock down that three-pointer consistently, man.
It's too late for that.
I know.
It's too
But
late for
man, just imagine that if he could have added that, like if he could shoot.
I know. It's too late now. I mean, he's in what, year number 10, year number 11 now. He had plenty of years to work on that, and he improved it a little bit. It's way better than what it was his rookie year, but it's just not enough. The game has evolved as the years went by. Now you got to be able to shoot that 3-point ball. You got to, and he just can't do it at an elite level like all the other guards are today. So yeah.
Okay, I know this isn't on script, but who's your MVP right now?
Right now, my MVP is Joel Embiid. I'm giving it to Joel Embiid right now.
Why do you say that?
They're the number 1 seed right now in the East. I mean, he's playing at a high level. He's averaging, 30 and 12.
Okay.
And without him, they only have 1 win this season. And with him, like I said, they're the number 1 seed in the East.
Okay. Now, my only thing with Joel Embiid is his health. So I think voters might throw that in there because he's already missed like 6-8 games, and then on a 72 game schedule, that's gonna be like, well, you can't even stay healthy. So I don't know, but he is playing. He's playing really well. Like he's playing great.
He is. Now, Tyra, before we go, I want to know your MVP pick real quick. Who was your MVP? Jokic, Embiid, LeBron, Giannis, Dame. Who you got?
That's a lot of names you said. I would say LeBron, but no. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Tyus.
Okay.
Because last year Joel Embiid was great too. He got them to where, playoffs. Unfortunately, they had their little mishap with losing. Was that the first round?
First round,
yeah. But he's been pretty consistent. He's not he's not an inconsistent player. So him winning MVP wouldn't be surprising, especially with like what he's doing now. So yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be upset if he won MVP.
Okay, well, Joel Embiid for MVP. We'll see how it turns out at the end of the season. But we had a great episode today. We talked about a lot of things. We covered some topics in the NFL and a couple in the NBA. And we'll be back next week, so you all stay tuned for another episode of Straight Like That on KTSU2, The Voice.